Hey, what is going on, you watered down Weedle? Today we're going to be playing some games with a control deck. Now, there's no real main Silver Tempest card that came out that really makes this deck all of a sudden good. There's the Radiant Jirachi in here from Silver Tempest, but the rest of the cards, the main ones in Miltank, Yveltal, and Ice-Q, we've had before, we've had for a little while, but bringing them all together and the way the format is kind of developed has allowed them all to flourish in this really cool control deck. So let's take a look at the list, and I'll explain how we utilize each of them in some of the popular matchups in the format. First things first, I want to give a shout out to Victor for the original list. I have made some adjustments, but the core idea was there to begin with, so I want to give them their props. Okay, let's get into it. So Miltank, Yveltal, and Ice-Q were the main three Pokemon that I mentioned that win us most of our matchups. So Miltank, of course, the Miracle Body can't be hit by any Pokemon V. This is really good against like Arceus decks, like Arceus Giratina. Can be really good against Lugia to force them to get into their Archeops and kind of force their energy around in weird ways they don't want to utilize it. We have 4 Yveltal in this deck. For, you guessed it, the Lugia matchup. They have a lot of special energy. They can only attack with special energy. They only play special energy, and they need a lot of them, and we discard a ton of them with the Cry of Destruction. And we kind of force them out into play by putting Miltank in our active and forcing our opponent to kind of play the game. And the last one is the Ice-Q. Now, this is in here for the Reggie matchup. This is also in here for the Lost Box matchups, because we get an Ice-Q in play, we put a Twin Energy on it, and then we put a Wash Energy on it, and then we attack with it with Block Face. Our opponent cannot hit it with Cramorant, or Charizard, or Kyogre, or Rayquaza, or any of those, and they also cannot attack it with Sableye because of the Wash Energy. Prevent all effective attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to the water Pokemon this card is attached to. So if we get all that combined, get it all on an Ice-Q, we just kind of win the game most of the time. Some of them play Temple of Sinnoh as of late, and that's kind of annoying, but if they don't got that, we're chilling. Like I mentioned, there's the Radiant Jirachi in here, super great setup card, and it can also be pretty good to help us deal with just like random problems our opponent throws at us. We do have to get lucky to be able to use the Astral Misfortune to kind of deal with those random problems, but sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky, and it's a nice, kind of get out of jail free card or last ditch effort. It just gets there sometimes. And of course, it's gonna be what we're throwing into the active early game. So when our opponent does knock it out, we get those Entrusted Wishes, get any 3 cards we want to kind of set up our board state, get ourselves going with whatever we might need to. Alongside the Jirachi for some support, we got the Mew, and then we have the Snorlax. Now, like the Mewtwo V Union control deck, which is the most recent popular control deck, we don't really have a Silene loop in here with the 2 Silene Palpads and the Team Yell's Cheer, I want to say is the name of the card. But we do have an Eldegoss in here with the Float Up and the Happy Match. And of course, we do play some double turbo energy, so we can repeatedly use the Eldegoss, put it in play, use Happy Match, get it back as supporter, get it into the active by using Bird Keeper, or sending up maybe the Emolga with the free retreat, retreating into the Eldegoss, and then we put it back into the deck so that we can use it again to get a supporter we want and kind of repeat the process. And we can have like infinite Boss's Orders, or Flanneries, or Peonias, or whatever we might need. And the supporter lineup down here is a little bit wonky, but it makes sense. Trust me, it's a little bit wonky, but yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. All right, that's all I gotta say about the list. If you guys love control as much as I do, be sure to give the video a like. If you enjoy the content and want to see some more from me, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to see some more gameplay from me with this deck, check out the secondary YouTube channel, AzulGG 2. Link in the description for that. And check out the Twitch live stream as well. I stream every day except Mondays over there, except when I'm also traveling for Pokemon tournaments. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Alrighty, gonna go first. And hope to get Snorlax in the active, maybe. Ooh, the Mew start is nice. Go with that. Got some options for supporters. Got the Pyukumuku. Feeling pretty good. Let's see what we're up against here. Arc Duraludon seems to be what we're facing down here. So they do have... What's my win condition here? Yeah, what is the win condition? Look through the deck. So we can use Jirachi to KO Duraludon, and then we can Miltank. Okay, that is our win condition, almost like certainly. It sounds bad, but it's all we got. So Arceus can't KO Miltank. Put on the Emolga. Tail. Go with a Crushing Hammer, and we'll use those to remove the fighting energies off of Duraludon potentially as well. One pass. All right, so our win condition is use Jirachi to KO Duraludon, and Arceus can't hit Miltanks. I'm going to use that as well. Force my opponent into the Duraludon to begin with. Put the Miltank in the active next turn, ideally. Force my opponent into Duraludon. Oh, no, it's Goodra. Okay, we just went with Miltank. Why do they have fighting energy in there? Okay, I'm a little bit sussed out still. I'm a little bit sussed out. I'm just sussed out. There's fighting energy. We saw it in the mulligan. You can't hide that from me. Either way, I'm getting a... Yeah, I'm holding on to this Crushing Hammer. I saw fighting energy in that mulligan. We're putting Miltank in the active. But from there, I don't know what we're going to do, to be honest. With the Miltank. Go ahead and use some Serious Tail. Nice fail. Do this. Grab the Bird Keep to get into the Miltank. 3. Alright, I'm going to pass. Miltank's in the active. Arceus can't hit Miltank. Goodra can't hit Miltank. But is that enough to win this game? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. We have some other shenanigans we can do. We have a lot of boss's orders, so we can keep bossing up Arceus over and over. We don't have infinite resources, though. This deck doesn't actually have, like... Well, it has infinite supporters because we have the Eldegoss loop at the end of the game. We have infinite resources in terms of the Eldegoss loop. But that's not going to save us from a... not going to save us from Arceus or Duraludon. It'll save us from Arceus. Not Duraludon, though. So we'll see how much Duraludon they play. Like I said, we got Crushing Hammer. We have Radiant Jirachi as a emergency attacker if we need it. So this is more than doable. More than doable. Just need to get a little bit lucky. I'm not going to lie. We probably need to get a little bit lucky. A little bit of luck and a whole lot of playing well and strategizing properly. And we could be walking away with a dub on this one. So, going to use, like I said, Crushing Hammers. Try and get rid of the fighting energy off the Duraludon. And then boss up Arceus as well will be part of the plan. Another way I could see this playing out as well. My opponent could have prized a piece of the Duraludon. So if they prize the VMAX, then we could theoretically... All right, there it is. Here we go. I almost want to use... I want to take away that... I want to take away the energy off the active here. It's like I might Pierce here. Oh, they got a fighting. Crushing Hammers are ready to go. Primed and ready. Okay. Move the fighting. Gotta make them work for it. Kind of want to remove the double turbo from the active to force him to get like another... But then they would have to scale my Yveltal with the double turbo. It's like one less thing they could use to switch. But I'd rather have him retreat. Okay, I'm just going to go with the Peonia here. Make sure I have the options I need. Parasol. Ordinary Rod, Twin Energy. Don't need Parasol or Manaphy. Probably or P. I don't think I'm going to need Piers, to be honest. Okay. Got everything I need in the hand. Feeling good. Pass over to my opponent. And we'll see what they got. That's a funny energy gone. They also only grabbed 2 energy there. So we've maybe beaten them here with just that single Crushing Hammer. But I think there's going to probably need to be a little bit more involved. I also kind of want to like net everything off my bet. Well, I don't really want to do that when they have 2 metal energy on their Duraludon. And I'm not trying to use... I do need to find more Crushing Hammers. Or, like I said, the Radiant Jirachi... Emergency Radiant Jirachi is also a tactic we can employ here. So we'll see what my opponent has right now. Going into... Alright, Trini Nova. Will they grab any fighting? No fighting grabs. They might be in their hand, though. So I'm not, like, sold on it not existing. I'm going to go with the Chorus. Could have gone with the Flannery here, to be honest, and taken away that. But I think I'd rather dig for Crushing Hammers. Grab these 3. If my opponent doesn't have... I imagine they're going to have the fighting energy on this next turn, though. We'll see. I'm assuming it's just in their hand. I'm assuming they have a fighting energy in their hand. The other thing... Okay, there it is. That's why I didn't want to like net up both my Pokemon off the bench or anything. Okay. Fighting energy on the Duraludon VMAX. We got some outs, though. Crushing Hammers and the Radiant Jirachi are going to be our go-tos here. Going to the Radiant Jirachi just next turn, I think. We're just going to go send up Radiant Jirachi. Go for the KO. Now, if they do play a switch card to move the Arceus, we'll also go with this Flannery to remove that double turbo. Because boss trapping the Arceus is also a viable strategy. We can employ that as well. While we wait to find our Crushing Hammers or to recover the Jirachi. Alright, G-Max Pulverization. I'm just going to go with the Jirachi swing here, though. And then the Jirachi also can lead to... They knock it out. We'll actually get to use the Entrusted Wishes to find our Crushing Hammer. So, throw this down. Twin Energy to it. Nothing to Flannery, unfortunately. All right, one time. Astral Misfortune, let's get it. No, so close. All right, we'll have another Astral Misfortune next turn. I mean, we're kind of running slim on our options here, I'm not going to lie. We'll have another Astral Misfortune next turn. I could, okay, we could use Flannery as well here, which is nice. With the Flannery plus Astral Misfortune. And get some Crushing Hammers. So, I'm going to look for a Quick Ball. Then just get a Miltank. If I get a Crushing, so I'm going to get a Quick Ball and double Crushing Hammers. And if I get a Crushing Hammer heads, hopefully, we'll go ahead and Quick Ball for another Miltank, send that in the active, hope that wins us the game. We'll also Ordinary Rod back the Radiant Jirachi and a Miltank as well. Might need them, might not. I also maybe prized a Crushing Hammer, which means it'll be on the other side of my prize cards, which means I can try and find that as well. We almost had him with the Astral Misfortune there. That would have been super sick if we had gotten the double heads. I was feeling pretty hype about it too. A lot of energy hitting the discard pile. And then at the end of it all, if it all else fails, we can go to just boss up Arceus. And that's really silly. Okay. All right, I'm gonna send this up. Use a Mysterious Tail to help us here then. Okay, Crushing Hammer. See how it does. Hey, that's a heads. Get that out of here. All right. Mysterious Tail. Nice fail. Ordinary Rod. Both back into the deck. I'm gonna net my Mew. Throw it down. And I guess I would, if I can find the Jirachi. I don't really want to use Jirachi though. I want to set up a Miltank and kind of force them to have. I just want to send up the Miltank and kind of force them to have the play. Here's my SQ. Miltank. Yeah, do they really play more than 2 fighting energy? Do they? What the heck? This sucks. All right. Pass. Yeah, do they really have more than 2 fighting energy? I want to say no. You also have the Gudra in here. Like, and you have V-Guard energy. There's no way. It's just, like, not real, right? Yeah, third fighting energy is definitely fake. I could have, like, net the Amalga and bet on potentially an energy being prized, because now they could, like, ball scale Amalga with Arceus, and that could lead to some shenanigans, obviously. But yeah, I'm just going to bet on them just not having another fighting energy. That seems ridiculous to have 2 fighting energy attached to the active. Okay. I like that. This could still, like, maybe it is prized. What if it's not? What if they're just waiting to find it? Like, they don't want to retreat. Yeah, they definitely want to retreat, so maybe they just don't have the switch card. I'll take the mana here. So yeah, nothing really relevant prized. Pass. Okay, so I could actually hit this with Miltank here. Is there a reason not to do that? Should I have been hitting this with Miltank this whole time? Put on the pressure. 70 damage. I definitely want to bench the other Miltank. Yeah, sure. I mean, this like kind of 50 damage. My bad. This kind of like forces them to play the game, right? All right, I like this. I like this. I think we can maybe get the dub here. Oh. The goo. Okay, we do 0 damage. That favors us, though. Okay, got the Radiant Jirachi just in case we need it. I'm not going to put it on the bench, but we can just hold it. Oh, my gosh. For some reason, I thought like I had to attack there. I like panicked. All right, I think we can maybe come out. This is a little bit... This is not the kind of decks that the Miltank deck is trying to go up against, to be honest. This is like not... Okay. Flannery here. Get rid of that off the Arceus. So now if I find boss, I'm going to boss up Arceus. They burned a switch card. They're down 3 double turbo energy. A ton of energy in play. So we could still, even if they have another fighting energy, and I can't remove it with the Radiant Jirachi or something else like that, we could still possibly trap the Arceus in the active and win by deck out. So that becomes a viable win condition here, to be honest. A viable win condition. Also, if they have to hard retreat the Gudra, boss on the Gudra. Now, we only do have 1 boss in the deck, so finding it could be difficult. Yeah, this is not the kind of decks we usually plan to try and beat with this deck. It's a little bit more unorthodox or like not part of the plan as far as the plan goes. I actually could have vacuumed here as well to thin out the deck, to be honest, because if we're gonna get Marnie here coming up, I don't really want... Oh, they could play an Ordinary Rod. That's gross. Who plays Ordinary Rod? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I can't imagine that there's a tool card. Well, they could play like an Air Balloon, I guess. Yeah, I can't really imagine there's a tool card that I care that much about. Ordinary Rod is the one thing I can kind of think of that they could definitely play. That would definitely be annoying. But we do have 2 Crushing Hammers left. We know they're in the decks. We'll draw into them eventually. Okay, that's fine. We'll draw into them eventually. And potentially be able to utilize them. Actually, in this situation, I would maybe even go as far as to boss my opponent's Duraludon, to be honest. So that way I can kind of start hitting that. Like, hitting that for 50 does put the pressure on and, like, give me kind of a viable win condition of actually KOing the Duraludon, as silly as that is, because that really shouldn't be one of our win conditions, but it technically is. I also don't want to hit the Arceus because they could play a sneaky Charon's Care. I wouldn't predict that they play Charon's Care, but they definitely could, so I don't really want to go with a... Yeah, I'm not trying to boss for my opponent. Okay, they're getting the prize card, and like I said, they could have a Fighting Energy prize here. I think I'm going to send up this Miltank, because if they do have a Fighting Energy prize here and they retreat and use it to knock out... So maybe I should have actually net that on the last turn. The Amalga. I should have maybe net the Amalga, to be honest. Because now I've given my opponent like a prize card when I had 2 Miltanks in play to protect me, just in case they get their last Fighting Energy or something like that. So actually, I think I messed that up. I should have net the Amalga, I think. I was kind of keeping it around as like a pivot option, but it's probably a mistake. Yeah, I want Path out of play just in case I want my Radiant Jirachi. All right, pass. And they got a Marnie, or they got to shuffle some stuff back into the deck. And there's a concede. Let's go. Man, winning matchups that a control deck is not built to win is always so just enjoyable. I love it. Couple Crushing Hammerheads, and we get the dub. Set up our board cleanly, nicely, play to our win conditions, execute it clean, and we get the dub. Let's get to it for this gameplay with the control deck. If you guys want to catch some more gameplay from me with it, check us out on our YouTube channel. Of course, AzulGG 2. Catch y'all in the next video. Peace.